Sunrise in Seoul, South Korea's capital. Most visitors and athletes heading to the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang will pass through this city. But just a short drive away from this bustling metropolis lies the world's most dangerous border. TRT World has acquired rare access to film inside one of the most secret and guarded places on the planet. The Winter Games is the reason this border crossing is back in the spotlight. It has been the division between North and South since 1953. Never before has it hosted an Olympic Games less than 100 kilometers from a regime intent on flexing its nuclear muscle. North Korea's growing nuclear threat is a stark reminder of just how close South Korea's capital is to immense danger. It is something that the residents of Seoul have to deal with on a daily basis. It is also something that will immensely worry the Olympic organizers. We're about to head into the demilitarized zone. It is the area where North meets South. We will try and film what we can, but we have been told that any sudden movements or a camera pointed at the wrong person may end our tour very quickly. We're also reminded that North Korean soldiers, armed North Korean soldiers, will be watching our every movement from their side of the border. After a few checkpoints, we are into the demilitarized zone. Once you're inside the DMZ, it becomes clear that this area is hostile. Barbed wire lines the fences for 250 kilometers. These fields are said to be riddled with over 1 million active landmines. And thousands of soldiers stand guard watching each other's every move. The reality is that these two countries are at war. Over the years, defectors attempting to cross have been killed. Most recently, this North Korean soldier miraculously survived being shot 5 times before crossing over into South Korea. Right now I'm standing in South Korea, but just a few meters away behind me in the middle of the blue buildings there is a line, and on the other side that is North Korea, where you possibly can see the bigger building in the background. It is a tense place to be, and the soldiers that you can see, the ones that guard this area every day, often come face to face with the enemy. It's worth noting as well that each soldier has to be above 5'9" and also has to have a black belt in Taekwondo. North Korean artillery is armed and pointed at the south, and if tensions were to escalate, this would likely once again become the front line, and Seoul is only a 45-minute drive away. This is not just a war fought with tanks and bullets, it's also a cultural battle too. Over my shoulder is the North Korean propaganda village. It was designed to try and entice South Koreans to defect over into North Korea. But actually, the big buildings behind me are just an illusion, really. The windows are painted on and there's no floors in between them. The North often plays, there's speakers set up all behind me, and throughout the day it'll play propaganda music, usually songs about their great leader. The South Koreans on this side of the border also play K-pop to try and irritate those on the other side of the border. While there are reasons to be hopeful,
diplomacy by sports, it's happened before, you know, ancient Greece.
the memories of what's happened aren't forgotten. When South Korea have hosted major sporting events in the past, North Korea has stoked fears of all-out war. Before the 1988 Seoul Olympic Games, 150 people were killed by North Korean agents who blew up a Korean air flight. In 2002, when the South co-hosted the FIFA World Cup, Pyongyang's patrol boats opened fire on a South Korean Navy ship. 6 South Koreans were killed. The US has been very critical of the North Korean regime, and often the war of the words is threatened to end in violence.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
The DMZ is a surreal place, strange and tense, but somehow normal to these soldiers. South Koreans have grown used to living in their neighbours' crosshairs, and the hope is that sport can now ease the tension and pave the way for peace. With North Korea committing to the Winter Olympics, some think it is a step in the right direction. But most South Koreans will tell you they've heard it all before.